Staring in the mirror, giving counsel to myself. This is not who I remember. Seems I hardly know this man. Making faces, trying to figure the location of a dream that I lost somewhere behind, in which I could be defined. Look what life has done to me. Try to remember who you were. Look what life has done to me. Look what life has done to me. Look what life has done to me.
Look what life has done to Duff. The choices that he made in life, the lifestyle that he chose. Look what it's done to him. His arms look like maggots have been feasting on it for 2 weeks. It's, in the video, it looks bad. But seeing it with your own 2 eyes in person, it's real gruesome. It's real gruesome. And you know, I point this out, man, because for the people that's thinking about doing this type of drug or going down into Philadelphia, I post these videos, man, to try to stop you in your tracks. You know, I try to let you take a peek into the future, or what could be your future if you make that choice. And you kids that's watching this, don't do drugs. Don't do it. Stay straight, stay sober. You don't need it. Because that would lead you right down here to this path, And today, drugs, you don't know what they're putting in it. Stuff is not pure anymore. The hustlers out there are hungry. They'll cut it with anything to try to expand it, you know, just to get you hooked. You know, and when you get hooked, these things are tearing up your body, and you don't have strength or power enough to walk away from it. So, Duff is bad. Duff is real bad. You know, first of all, if you just tuned into this channel, I'm Joe the Street Preacher, and thank you for tuning into this channel. This is part 2 of flesh-eating drug. That's a good name for it, man, because that's exactly what that drug does. That fentanyl mixed with trank that got gasoline in it, meat tenderizer, that's exactly what it does. It eats your flesh up. It does. For those of you who have just tuned into this and you haven't seen part 1, I ask that you stop right now, go back to part 1. It's flesh-eating drug, and it says part 1. This is flesh-eating drug part 2. This one might be long because I got a lot of information I'm trying to put in there, so just bear with me, you know, and I ask that you like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to the channel, join the family, because we're talking a lot of stuff that you could probably show to your kids, you could show to your loved ones, and maybe even your friends that's thinking about going down that path, because they need to take a peek into the future and see what these drugs are doing to them. Hopefully that'll stop them in their tracks and make them make a U-turn and say, you know what, I don't want none of that. I don't want that to happen to me. You know, so I remember when I first went down there and I started doing interviews, there was a girl named Kelly. She's in season 1. Matter of fact, this Kelly right here. You can scroll down to season 1 and you will see her testimony. But I'm gonna play a little clip right here that I was interviewing her, and she was trying to tell me about this drug. I didn't know nothing about this yet. She was trying to tell me about it. She called it crocodile. She said the reason why they call it crocodile is because the way that it does people's skin, it makes it look like the back of a crocodile, and that's true. And after a while, it'll sink in, and it sink into your skin, and it eats all the way down to the bone. Where some people got holes in their legs and holes in their arms. She was telling me about that. I'm gonna play this clip right here. See if you remember. If you haven't heard, then now you're gonna hear her say it. Is it true that some of these drugs out here is cut with rat poison? Have you heard that?
Yes.
That is true?
I have not heard about the rat poison. I've heard about the crocodile.
Who?
Something called crocodile. Now,
crocodile? What is that?
Okay, so my roommate in detox, the last time I went in, about a month ago. She showed me things on the water, right? And they're scaly. It looks almost like snakes. I said, what is that?
Yeah, I think I seen that on somebody's skin earlier.
She said it's a certain stamp. I can't remember which one it is, but you're cutting it with something called crocodile. It's from Australia. And what it does is it eats away at your skin. It eats, it's fleshy. She said she's seen somebody. It starts with the scales, with a hole straight down to their bone. See their bone though.
Wow.
Crocodile does that. That's what I've heard. I haven't heard about
that's.
So Kelly was the first person to actually tell me about this drug, because as I was down there, the only thing that I heard of at this particular time was about the fentanyl and the trank, and how the trank had caused people to slump over. That gave me the understanding of why people were slumping over, because they was taking horse tranquilizer mixed with fentanyl. So I heard about the crocodile drug first with Kelly. And then after Kelly told me about it, I had some doubts in my mind. I thought maybe she don't really know what she's talking about. But then I ran into this news footage that said the same thing that she said. Watch this.
It's a narcotic that's ravaged parts of provincial Russia. Named crocodile because of the scaly marks it leaves on the body where it's injected. The concoction is highly addictive and the ingredients are dirt cheap. Medina Kachanova now reports on the horrific effects of a deadly drug.
It's 2 years since drug addict Alexei lost his best friend, and every December he visits his grave.
Andrei was a great photographer. He was into advertising. He was involved in several projects. But that thing just killed him. He couldn't stop. It chased him to death.
That thing was desamorphin, an extremely addictive opioid to which users inject. It's better known as crocodile because it gives addicts scaly, gangrenous skin. It's also described as the flesh-eating zombie drug. It causes severe brain damage. Users' skin eventually falls off. It kills addicts within 2 years.
And still, Duff is the worst I've seen since I've been down there. Now, I know that it's got to be worse, but I'm just telling you with my eyes, Duff's skin, his arms is worse than anybody, even than that lady that we just saw. But did you hear the part when they said that within 2 years, these people died? These people that's taking this drug, that's eating up their body like that, within 2 years, these people died. And Duff told me that he's been on this over a year already, and look what it's done to his body. So that lets me know that Duff's time is ticking. His time is ticking. If he don't turn away from this, Duff could be the very same person that died on Kensington Avenue. It's not good. That's not good. The reason why that's not good, because the reality of this situation is people died on these drugs. Look what they said on the news media about this guy, about his friend. Look what happened.
Alexei managed to escape the consequences of the drug, but his story is more of an exception than the rule. In reality, those who tried the so-called world's deadliest drug even once pay dearly for the cheap high, and all too often they end up here.
I remember my friend couldn't work because of the drug. He needed to inject again. It became an obsession. In the end, he was only working to afford the dose.
Crocodile is made by combining codeine with ordinary household detergents or even gasoline.
Did you hear what they just said about the gasoline? Did you hear that? I've been telling y'all that gasoline is one of the ingredients of this fentanyl train. It has fentanyl in it, horse tranquilizer, which causes them to slump over, meat tenderizer, and gasoline. And gasoline that's in this particular drug is what's burning holes and burning their bodies up. She said it. And they've been telling me this down there on Kensington Avenue for a minute, but this lady said it in the news that there's gasoline in there. You know, I was thinking at first that the reason why gasoline was in there is because when the people take the drugs and try to transport it in vehicles, they put it in the gas tank. So I was thinking that's why it smelled like gas, or that's why it might have a little gas in it. But from what I'm told, they're actually putting gas, they're actually pouring gas as one of the chemicals in this particular drug that is causing people to lose their life. Look at this woman right here. I got her off of AML's film, where she was interviewing by AML. And look what she was telling AML in this interview. Look at this woman. She's right there on Kensington Avenue. Listen to her testimony.
But no one really understands the extent of the damage that the dope that they have in fentanyl does to your body, health-wise. I'm a perfect example. CJ was a great example of that. I mean, not great, but he was an example of that. But I'm a perfect example. Just in looking at the videos, you can see the change in my weight. And what I have is not an abscess, because an abscess has a black core that you can come out. The holes in my legs do not have cores. They don't have that at all. They're just continuously open wounds. Doctors really need to pay attention to this, because it's a flesh-eating bacteria, and it's killing all of us. And they don't take it seriously, and it's actually really sad. And a lot deeper than they want to know. Not every dope has it, but 99.9% of them do. Also, you can smell it in the cooker. I poured out my dope the other day, and I could smell the gasoline from down here.
So you see that the lady said that this particular drug is killing all of us. You heard her testimony. She's from down there on Kensington Avenue. AML did that interview with her. She said that this drug is killing all of us. She talked about the holes that's in her body, how she's losing weight, how she's just deteriorating, you know. And she went on to say that as she poured the dope out on the table, she could smell the gasoline in the drug. So gasoline is definitely one of the ingredients in this drug that's killing people. Anyway, I just wanted to share that news information with you guys. And now let's get into my interview with Duff.
I went to the hospital one time for it, and I was there for like 4 days, and I did whatever I put. They did a skin graft on this arm, and it was just too much. These doctors was too much. They obviously wanted me to stay, and I left after 4 days because I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
It's too much. Too much.
Damn.
Of course.
So, this is what I learned from Duff. Look what we learned from Duff in his interview. Because I know it's not natural to have your body like that and you don't go to the hospital and get help. That's not common sense. That just didn't make sense to me. Who would sit there and let their flesh be eaten up like that and they don't go to the hospital and get it treated? You know, so it don't make sense to me. But look what Duff said, what he just said, to cause it now to make sense. Duff said, he admitted that he went to the hospital one time. He said that when he went, they took a long time, you know, to treat him. He was waiting for 4 days. He said after the 4 days, he had to leave because it was too much. He started detoxing and it was just too much. See, the reason why he don't go is because when you go in there, they don't treat you right away. They might make you wait a while. If he's in there and he don't have that dope, he's going into detoxing. This is very hard for them. Yeah, and this is their nightmare to ever witness detox. This is why they continue to keep putting that poison in their body all day, every day, because they don't want to go through that withdrawal. They don't want to go through that detoxing because they get the throwing up. Some of them go into seizures. They get a panic attack. They get nervous. They start stressing. They start, like I said, they start throwing up. And some of them, like Gene, end up going to a coma. And to be honest with you, some of them die. You know, so they're afraid of that.
So that's the reason why he's not going to get treatment. He tried that before, but they took too long. He started going into detox, and he'd rather go back to the street and go back and get that drug again than to sit there and get well and get treated and to be able to get on his feet and, you know, leave that place and go on with his life. Because he has a family, man, that is millionaires, that is rich, his mother and his father. And I'm sure that if he show up on their doorstep in tears saying that I went and got treatment, I'm stopped, he's going to be on top. He ain't going to want for nothing. I'm sure once he start healing up and his father see that he really got off of that, he'll probably, you know, put him into business or help him get his own place and everything. But, you know, it's the poor choices we make when we get on these drugs, man. We just cannot make our life better by being stuck on these drugs. So, you know, I jumping in and out of this video because I'm trying to show you people, man, do not make that mistake and get on these drugs, because it's not easy to get off. It's hard to get off. And this choice that you make, you end up just going to go down and down and down and down. Here it is. This is a rich kid, come from a rich family, and he's sleeping out in the streets of Philadelphia on a hard, nasty floor, concrete floor. Instead of he could be sleeping in a palace in a king-size bed, you know, comfortable bed with a nice car outside, with a business, with a wife, with a family. But this drug caused him to go down the wrong path. That's what it does. That's what it does, man. That's what it does. Look what else he says. Well, yeah, so I wanted to end this video. I wanted to talk with you. See if you can get both of us on there. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I wanted to talk with you, man. You get it? Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I wanted to talk with you, man, because, you know, I'm a minister, right? And my job when I come out here, I minister to people. And this show that I'm doing is called Keeping It 100 on Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. Absolutely. And this is and the reason why I call that is because when y'all come on the show, y'all keep it 100 with us. By you even rolling up your sleeve, you keeping it 100. Absolutely. You're not trying to hide it. Yep. You know, and this is causes people to pray for you, to feel, you know, to kind of, you know, have compassion on you and stuff like that. You keeping it 100 by telling me what drug you use and all that. What you didn't tell me is how much you spend on a daily basis on your drugs. I make it crazy amount of money. Yeah. 300, 500, 200. I mean, I hustle, I sell works. I'm the greatest hit out here. I hit people better than probably all the doctors can, you know? So that's how you make the money? Yeah, I take people to the best shit. I'm pretty much like a tour guide, you know what I mean? Yeah. A tour guide? Tour guide. So you'll tour the people that is like unaware with around here? Unaware where to go. You'll tour on where to go. I tell them where to go. Pretty much they tell you, oh, I want this particular drug. You're like, all right, come on, I'll tell you. I know where the best shit is. I know where everything's at. So there you go. I know it all. I know it. So, from me being down there all the time, I'm learning from people that there's a lot of ways to hustle to get the money they need to be able to get the drug that they want to put in their body, because drugs ain't free. You know, nobody's just going to give them a needle or give them a sack or a bag or even a bundle for nothing. You're going to have to come up with this money, and these people are hustlers down there. They got all kinds of ways of hustling. The women prostitute themselves on the street to be able to come up with the money to be able to support their drug habit. It's sad, but it's true. That's exactly what's going on now. That's another thing we need to pray for, because the women are just abusing their bodies and just giving themselves away, all to get money, not to pay the rent, not to support their children, not to try to save up money to get a place. All that goes right to the dope man so that they can get high, and they sleep all the duration of the drug high, and then after that, when they wake up, they go right back to the streets again. It's bad, because you can catch diseases like that. That's one way that they hustle around there. And it's sad to say it's some men down there too, because you got a lot of sick people that come down there and take advantage of the people that's weak on these drugs. You know, so you got some men that's into homosexuality, and they come down there and they catch some of the men down there that will prostitute themselves too for the money, so that they can get the
bag. Even Frank interviewed a guy who, just by looking at him and hear the way he talked like a thug, you would have never thought he was doing that. And he says that he prostitutes himself like that sometimes. So, you know, that's bad, man. But that's the way of life down there when you're hooked on these drugs. So prostitution is one form of getting it. If you remember my interview with Gene says that he boosts, and that's true. You know, Gene goes and he steals a lot of clothes and stuff, or whatever it is he steals. He comes back because he knows who will buy it, and he gets money. You know, and he say he makes $200 to $300 every time he go out. You know, so he might go out 2 or 3 times a day. So some of these people are making more money than your average hard worker. You know, they got a job. Some of them are making, and it's always like that in the street anyway. You're gonna hustle. If you become a hustler or a drug dealer, you're gonna make more money than your average 9 to 5 worker. You know, but it's a shame that they're not putting that to good use, that they put it into bad use anyway. But Duff hustle is, he don't boost, he don't prostitute himself. Duff is a tour guide. Duff is the man that when somebody come from out of town, which this happens a lot, people are coming from different states, you know, coming over there because they're hearing that it's easy to get drugs. You can get high right there on the street. They got a park named Needle Park. People sleep in that park. You don't have to worry about rent or whatever. They're just in La La Land, and they come over there. But when they come there, they don't know nobody. And they start asking around, and somebody will call Duff, and Duff will say, okay, what's your drug preference? Oh, I like crack. Okay, come on, I know who to take you to. I'm gonna take you to Rick. You know. Oh, what about you? Oh, I like heroin. Come on, I'm gonna take you over here to Bobby. You know. Oh, I like Fetty. I want to try that trank. Is it good? Oh yeah, it's good. Come on, I'm gonna take you over here to Rick. You know. So he's the tour guide. He's gonna take them to the dope man. You know, and when they get stuck down there, they know exactly which dope man to always go to. You know, to get their dope. You know, he's the tour guide, and he gets paid for that on both ends. The dope guy probably give him money. Hey man, you know, you brought me 3 or 4 customers today, man. Here's a few bags, or here's some money. I don't know how they do it, but he gets rewarded on both ends. And also, you know, he's gonna charge them. Hey, you know, I'm gonna take you now. Look out for me. You know, I'm gonna take you over there. I'm gonna introduce you to the man. Look out for me. And they do it. So that's his hustle. He makes money. And another way he says he makes money. He was telling us, I don't know if it's in the interview or this is something that he told us off of camera, because I talked with him for a while off of camera. He told me a lot of things that we didn't get a chance to record. But I know he told me, I can't remember if it's on camera or off camera, that he also specialized in shooting people in the neck, in their vein, to get them high. He's known for that. They say he's good with that. In other words, he know exactly, because if you don't get it in the vein, you could mess yourself up. And he knows how to find the vein, press it in your neck or wherever in that vein, and squirt it in, and you become high. And he gets paid for that. Every person he does, and that's the norm around there, to see everybody somebody you know, injecting them with the needle. You know, you've seen that in some of my videos in the past. You know, so he hustles, and he knows how to make money. You know, so he's a hustler, and he's making his money to get that dope in his body. That's destroying him. So they're not hard up for money down there. You know, they know how to get money somehow, some way. They're making money over there. I've seen women come out in the crowd, open up a bag, and pull out clothes, and everybody flood them with money. They're buying this shirt or this blouse. But I'm gonna tell you something. The people around there, they're not your average homeless person. I don't know if you've been watching the videos. I've been some places where you see homeless, they real dirty, they smell, they don't have no shoes, their feet is dirty. These homeless people is not like that. They got on nice shoes, they got on nice shirts, nice pants. You know why? Because they all hustling down there, and they buy from one another. They support one another hustle. The person that goes and steal all these clothes, they bring it back, and these people buy the shirts, these people buy the pants, they buy the blouse, they buy the shoes, they buy pocketbooks, they buy purses, they might even buy phones, even though it's going to get stolen as soon as they fall asleep. You know, so they're not your average homeless person. I've seen this down there. I witnessed myself. You know, and they got a place where they go take a shower at. It's a building down there that lets them come and take a shower. So they go down there, they take showers. Churches are around there feeding them 2 to 3 times a day. You know, I've seen that a lot while I was down there. And all that food, all that paper you see on the streets, all those are paper plates.
That's why you see it all over the streets, because it's paper plates, because the people feed them, and when they get it, they throw it on the ground instead of throwing it in that big old garbage can that they got over there, because they got a lot of garbage, big dumpsters over there, the big black dumpsters. They got a lot of them, but some of them probably throw it in, the majority of them throw it on the streets. So that's why you see all the paper and stuff on the streets, because they're getting fed. You know, they're getting fed. They're eating. You know, so it's the way of life down there on Kensington Avenue. So now, this is the part of the show where the tables turn, where it is now my turn to keep it 100 in the eyes of God with the guest on my show. It is time for me to keep it 100 with them. And how do I keep it 100 with them? By showing them the pros and the cons of the decision that they made, the lifestyle that they chose to be on. There's pros and cons. And a lot of times you don't run across people to show you the cons of the decision that you made. You just look at the positive part, but you don't look at the negative. Everything has a positive and a negative, but your positive should outweigh your negative. Your good should outweigh your bad. Your pros should outweigh your cons. So this is my opportunity to show him, you know, that this path that you chose, look at the cons that's on this path. You got so much cons. The cons is the bad points. The pros is the good points. You know, the good in it, I'm explaining to him about me being a truck driver, me choosing to be a truck driver. You know, it had pros and cons in this decision that I made. But my pros outweighed my cons. The choice that he made to go down this path that he's going, I don't see any pros in it. All I see is cons. The cons that I see, the bad points that I see, is that this drug is eating your body up. You can get so affected to the point that you can die from these open wounds that's not being treated. You know, from the drugs that you're taking, you know, you can very well OD and you can die from this very drug that you're taking. So what's the pros in this? All I see is cons. So that's what I get into. Watch this interview. So, by you keeping it 100 with us, at the end of the show, I'm obligated in the eyesight of God to keep it 100 with you. Where, you know, in life, whenever we make a major decision, every decision has its pros and its cons. Pros meaning the good habits and the good points, and the cons is the bad points. I'm gonna use me as an example. I was telling Hood Stunt, I said that I'm a truck driver, right? And I drive from the West Coast to the East Coast. And I go out like for 2 weeks, I come back for a week, and then I go back out again. This pays well. I make real good money, enough money to provide for my family. My wife don't have to work. She got the car that she wants, the cars of her dreams. You know, we live in a nice house. Those are what you call the pros, right? Now my cons is I'm barely there with my daughter. I'm barely there with my kids. I'm barely with my wife. I'm barely there because I'm always on the street. But even though I'm always on the street working, I still come home for a week. And even though I'm out there working, I'm paying all the bills. So my pros outweigh my cons. But when I look at the lifestyle that we choose, like with these drugs and the certain drugs we use and the effects that they have on them, I don't really see no pros in it.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's no pros, it's just cons.
Yeah, it's a lot of cons.
The cons are like what's happening to your body. So, did you hear that? Duff agreed with me. I gave him the story about me, of how I chose to be a truck driver. And in this decision, before I made this decision, I had to look at the pros and the cons, because every major decision has a pros and cons in it. The pros is the good points and the cons is the bad points. So I was explaining to him, just in case you couldn't hear it, I was explaining to him that before I made this decision, I had to look at the pros and the cons. The pros is I make real good money, because I'm a car hauler. I'm a car transporter. I'm just not your regular truck driver that backs up to the back of the wall. I'm not down in that, but I'm saying car haulers make more money. So I'm a car hauler, and I make real good money, I have a good career. And those are the pros when I saw that, about the money, how I get a chance to travel all around the United States. I get a chance to leave from the West Coast and go as far as all the way to the East Coast, all the way up to Maine, right to the border of Canada. So I've been through New York plenty of times. I've ate at plenty of restaurants, been to malls, just walked. I've took my wife with me. We walked through the streets, we went shopping. We did all kinds of things. I've been through so many different cities, ate at so many different restaurants, you know, and just met people all around the United States, you know, bringing them their cars and stuff like that. And it's just, those are the pros, because I get a chance to tour the United States for free. So those are the pros. The money, the scenery, those are the pros. My cons is, in this decision, is that I'm away from my house, from my family, for 2 weeks. And that's really the bad part. That's only the bad part. Because outside of that, when you look at my pros and my cons outweigh my cons. They do. Because even when I come home, when I'm gone for 2 weeks, and when I come home for that 1 week, oh, we have a good time. You know, number one, the kids don't want for anything. My wife don't want for anything. My wife is driving a nice car. My wife is driving a car that she said she always wanted. And I was able to get that for her. My wife don't work. I don't let my wife work, because I pay everything. My job allowed me to pay all my bills and everything. And I'm not bragging, I'm not boasting, because those things are God blessing me. He's been rewarding me. So I'm not bragging about that, but I'm just showing you, I'm highlighting the pros. My pros outweigh my cons, because even though when I'm gone for 2 weeks, when I come home for that week, we having a good time. We're going out to eat, we're going shopping, we're going here, we're going there. We might go to the movies, we're going to go hang out, we might go to the circus, we might go to the place where they have the rides. You know, if it's somebody's birthday, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese, we're going to celebrate, we're doing a whole lot. So my pros outweigh my cons. So what I'm trying to tell him is that the lifestyle that I see that they're choosing down here on Kensington Avenue by doing these drugs, I don't see any pros in it. All I see is cons. And you know what he did? He said, you're right. See, that's one thing I learned. I don't believe I'll ever meet anybody down there that don't regret or won't admit that the decision that they made to do these drugs was the greatest decision they ever made in their life. They always say that they always admit that they made a wrong turn. They always admit that if I had a chance, I wouldn't go down this path again. Every last one of them. I never met anyone that said, no, man, if I had a chance, I'd choose this life again. I love this life. I love being on these drugs. I love the way it's eating up my body. I love being homeless, sleeping out on the street, man. I just love it. No. They all, if they had a chance to rewind their life, to go back to that part before they put this drug in their body, they all would agree that they won't do it again. And they all agree that they made a wrong turn, and they all agree that there is no pros in this decision that they made. And that's why I go down there, to try to show them the pros and the cons of the decision that they made, that hopefully they will realize that my cons is outweighing my pros, so I need to get off of these streets and do better. I try to present to them that there's a better life. There's a better life than being out there stuck on drugs and being in the streets. There's a better life. That's the purpose of me doing it. And the purpose of me also doing it is to lead them to the Creator, which is Christ. That's my purpose of being down there, is to lead them to Christ, and lead them to the rehab, to lead them off of them streets, out of that darkness, that dark hole in their life. That's why I'm down there. That's why I'm down there. Prosperous. I don't know you, but I still worry about it. You know, and man, listen, I'm offering to take you to the hospital right now. You know, if you want, man, because you need help. This is not good for your arm to be like that. You need help. This is the cause of this that can cause you to die. You know, and I don't want that. Even though I don't know you, I don't want that. So those are the cons. Those are the bad ones. You know, and then taking these drugs, we can overdose and die. That's another con. By us going to steal, we can get caught, go to jail, and if we go to jail, now we're automatically in that detox that you say ain't good.
You know, because they're not gonna give you that drink in there. They're not gonna give you that fentanyl in there. You know what I'm saying? So these are the cons. These are the things I try to just bring to your attention so you can kind of look at, you know, the pros and the cons of this situation. And you can get help if you want help. I got hooked up with a church around here that would take people in. They'll give you room and board, they'll give you a bed, they give you clothes, they give you 3 meals a day, but you can't leave. That's the only problem. You know, you can't leave and you'll be in there for 12 months.
You ain't gonna want that. Absolutely not. I'd be like jail. So
I try to help, man, everybody. You know, when I go down there, man, I don't just go down there to talk, man. I try to help everybody, man. Tell them that, you know, I got a rehab center, a church, you know, around there that I'm hooked up with, that they'll take them in. They'll take them in. They'll do like a little 5-10 minute interview, and they'll take them in. You know, and when you go in, you have free room and board. You have a comfortable bed other than sleeping on that hard concrete floor out there. You know, wintertime is coming up where you'll be freezing out there. I don't know how they survive in the winter because it get cold there. I don't know how they survive on the streets. I guess they jump in those bandos, which is the abandoned buildings. But I tell them, man, you could come from out of the cold, that you could go inside this place when it's hot outside, they'll have the air conditioning, you'll be in a cool environment. When it's cold outside, they'll have heat in there, you'll have a warm environment. You'll have a nice, comfortable bed. You're guaranteed 3 meals a day, and they're gonna be taking you constantly to the hospital to fix your wounds and get you, you know, get your health right, you know. And things like that. And they're going to be teaching you about your creator, and they're willing to help you after this rehab to get you on your feet, get you a job and stuff like that. They're willing to help you. Duff said, no, he rejected it. Duff said it would be like being in jail. Man, you try to offer, see, this is how God works, man. One thing about God, he doesn't violate your free will. God said in his word, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. He said, therefore, not only did he tell you what he set before you, which now shows that you have a choice to choose either life or death, blessings or curses. He tell you in that same verse, and I'm gonna put the whole chapter, the book, the chapter, and the verse right there. He tells you, I have set before you. He's talking to all his human creations. He's telling them, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Then he says, therefore choose life, that you and your seed may live. Your seed is your children. God is telling you, I've set before you life and death, but I'm going to tell you which one to choose. I'm going to tell you which one is the best choice. I'm telling you to choose life. Because if you choose God, to follow God, if you choose to follow Christ, you have chosen life. And along with that life comes blessings. He tell you he'll bless you in the city and bless you in the field. Bless you coming in and blessing going out. No matter where you go, you will be blessed by God. I know this because I've been in prison for 23 years. But for the 23 years I was in there, I was seeking God. I have 57 and God brought me out of prison. And from the time I got out of prison, my mom died while I was in prison. My brother died while I was in prison. That was it for my immediate family. I didn't have nobody else immediate family. All I had was cousins that never kept in contact with me when I was in prison. The only loved ones that I had out there that stayed in contact with me, beside my children, my son and my daughter, my oldest daughter, besides them, I really didn't have nobody else that I could stay with. I could have stayed with them, but my daughter is married, my son, you know, has his life, and I didn't feel right going in there trying to, you know, stay with them, you know. So my thing is, I really didn't have anybody. I could have been homeless, but because I was serving God, because I was seeking God, see, that's the purpose of doing that, because God is always going to bless you. David said, I have been young and now I'm old, and yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. Why? Because David also said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Because a shepherd is going to take care of his sheep. Don't we take care of our animals that have dogs? You know, we're going to make sure we feed our dogs. We're going to make sure we feed our cats. If we have birds, we're going to make sure we feed them. If we have turtles, we're going to make sure we feed them. And that's the same way God is. If you're walking with God, if he's your shepherd, meaning that if he's your shepherd, you're going to be following him. If you're following him, you ain't going to want for anything. Ain't no reason for me to be homeless on the street because I'm walking right with God. You know, and that's the thing of me being down there, is trying to show them, you know, that there's a better life. There's a better way. God is telling you to choose life. Choose to be blessed. Because when you on the streets and you ain't got no place to go, you curse. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it real. That's the only way I can do, you know, is to teach you the right way. If you live right with God, you're going to be blessed. I'm a living witness of that. 23 years, and I come out and I make over 100 grand a year, over 100 grand a year as a truck driver job, and I ain't never had no experience until I went to school. I was fresh out of school and I got a job doing this. That wasn't nothing but God. That wasn't nothing but God. And I don't want for anything. It's like I've never been locked up, you know? So I'm telling you, man, that stuff about people saying, oh, once you be in the jail, it's hard to get a good job. Ain't nothing hard when you walking with God. Ain't nothing hard. God will show you favor. God will open up doors that don't normally open for anybody else. That's how God works. I know that because I'm a living example. I'm a living, breathing example of the blessings and the powerful miracles of God, because I'm still supposed to be doing 20-something years in prison right now, but God delivered me way before my time, and he told me that. He showed my children that I was going to come out before my time, and he kept his word. He kept his word because I kept my word. I told him I was going to start following him, and I was going to stop doing the things I used to do, and I prayed and asked him to give me the strength. I prayed, I fasted there, and I've been delivered from a lot of things, and God see I was sincere. And when God, just like the book of Jonah, when God saw that Jonah, after he threw Jonah in the belly of the whale, that whale would have digested him, would have swallowed him up, it would have killed him in there. But because he cried out to God, got on his knees, he started making vows to God. And because he did that, the Bible said God spoke to the fish, and the fish spit Jonah back up on dry land. And I always knew in prison that if God could speak to a fish and make that fish spit him up on dry land, I know he could do the government that. And that's exactly what he did. Spit me right back up on dry land. Gave me a second chance, another chance. I know the power of God. You just got to submit to him. You got to choose him. Because if you choose to not follow God, then you chose death. And along would come with that. And death means it's a physical, but it's also spiritual. The spiritual is death means separation. And that's what we are. When we choose to live a sinful life, we're separated from God, because God cannot tolerate sin. So if we're not walking with God, if we're not walking in the light, then we're walking in darkness. And who's in darkness? The devil. That's who's telling us to do drugs. That's who's telling us to rob. That's who's telling us to prostitute ourselves. That's who's telling us to get high, to get drunk. That's the devil. Because the Bible says that he come to kill, steal, and destroy. That's the devil's mission. That's what he want to do. I know I'm turning this into a preaching message, man, but I really got heart for these people, man. Because I've been there, and I ain't talking about doing drugs. I ain't never done drugs, but I sold drugs. So that don't make me no different. You know, to me, I think it was worse, because I was the one causing these people to be hooked on drugs. Not fentanyl. That was way before my time. I ain't never dealt with heroin, but I did deal with crack. You know, crack and cocaine. I did deal with that. I did do that. You know, people were strung out on that crack. I never seen anybody die from it, but it don't mean that they haven't. God knows. But I was wrong, you know, and that's why I have compassion for them, because I still have that inner guilt. Even though the Bible says if you confess your sins, it says God is faithful and just to forgive you of your sins and to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. He tell you in the Old Testament, he'll take your sins and he'll throw it in the depths of the sea, and he won't remember it no more. You know, so I know God doesn't remember my sins. He don't hold it accountable because I confess those sins. But at the same time, when I see those people, it do kind of make me feel bad that I used to be part of the problem, and now I'm trying to be part of the solution. You know, so that's it, man. I'm just venting to y'all right now, man. I'm just venting, man, and I do have compassion for these people, man. I just want to see them. I just want to see them do right, man.
Anyway, continue to watch this video. So next, I got my little buddy with me, Hood Stunt, that's from Kensington, and he's gonna interview Duff. He's gonna ask him a few questions. Look at this.
Yeah. What interested you to keep going with the lifestyle that you're dealing with, what you're doing? Like you don't want to change.
It's just a comfort zone.
It's a comfort zone.
This is my comfortability.
Yeah, you're comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with it.
So Hood Stunt is asking him, what is it that has him keep doing this drug? In other words, Hood Stunt can see that this drug is destroying his body. It's eating up his flesh real bad. And Hood Stunt wants to know, what is it that's causing you to keep on with doing the drugs that you're doing? You know, and by staying out here on the streets, continue to stay down here. And Duff's response was, he's comfortable here. You know, this is the life that he knows to be doing drugs. You know why? Because he's been doing it since he was 13 years old. And if you've been doing something since you was 13 years old all the way to the age of 37, that becomes your normal. That's normal to you. That's your way of life. This is your comfort zone. You know, he's comfortable there in a place where me and you wouldn't be comfortable around there, sleeping on the streets or even putting a certain type of drug into our system that we know that can destroy our body. We wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, but he's comfortable with that. Have your father seen your arm?
Probably not.
Oh, you never let him see it?
My dad's a really busy man.
Huh?
My dad's a very busy man.
Yeah.
So he don't.
What about your mom? Is she still alive?
Yes.
Have she seen your arm or your legs?
Not. She knows of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you know if they see that,
she knows. Like
that's gonna mess them up. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Out here?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What happened?
I mean, I tried to rob you.
I tried. I'm taking a bundle from a block. That's when I got shot.
Took a
and then,
from a block.
Yeah, that's all.
Run off on a plug, eh?
Yeah.
The streets are dangerous. You know, I'm from the streets. I'm from the hood, and I know that the streets are dangerous. You can get killed out there. You know, I've had times where I've been shot at. I've had a hit put out on my life, you know, where they tried to kill me and my homeboy. They shot the car up. I just got out the car right before they shot it up. The bullets went through my seat. You know, so when you out there in the streets and you out there hustling, you know, you make enemies because people get to hating on you. They don't like that you making more money than they are. Your plug is embraced you and accept you in, but they didn't do that with them. So they get mad, and sometimes they want to kill you. They want to shoot you. They want to eliminate you. You in their way. So Duff has been shot out there in the streets. Why? Because he said he tried to rob for a bundle. Now, for you that don't know what he's talking about, that's a bundle of drugs. That's a bundle that's full with a lot of drugs, a lot of drugs that he can stand and make a lot of money off of and be able to feed his addiction and whatever else he want to do with it. So he robbed that. They caught him and they shot him. By the grace of God, he didn't die. By the grace of God, he didn't die, but he's been shot and he's also been stabbed. He told us that off of the, I don't have that on the video, but he told me that he's been stabbed. He invited a guy to where he was staying at one time, and the guy came over and they had a big altercation over something, and he was high, the guy was high, and the guy pulled out a knife and stabbed him up. You know, he could have died then too. You know, so really when you're out on these streets and you making these poor choices, you know it's dangerous because you're on a bad path, and you can lose your life, whether someone kill you or you OD on these drugs. So it's just not a good choice to go down this path. It's not a good choice to go down this path. Death is on this road. However it comes to you, whether OD or someone kill you, it's not a good path to be on. So I want to ask you this before we go. For the people that's watching, and for the lady that said
please pray for Duff, because obviously that bothered her. What would you like to say to her?
I mean, I appreciate all the prayers. I appreciate everything. You know, I appreciate the concerns and all, and I, you know, I definitely need it, you know, for sure. And you know, my mind is so like.
So I'm going to end this right now. This is Duff. We're going to end this show. I asked Duff to go to the hospital. I would take him to the hospital, but Duff said, "What you said, Duff?" He says no. He don't want to go. I asked Duff, did he want to go to the recovery center, and he said no. So all we could do is keep him. I can't put up. Wow. These people really be popping willies around here, man. They do it good too. Yeah, but you know, I wish I could put a rope around his neck and drag him in there, man, but I can't. I can't do that, man. So all we could do is pray for Duff. You know, pray for him that, you know, that the Lord would change his mind, convict his heart, and because I don't want to see Duff die on these streets. I don't even know him, man, but just by watching this video, I was touched by it, and I was kind of happy today, man, when me and Hood Stunt was walking the street, and I said, man, there go Duff, man, and we pulled up on him, and he decided to do. He decided to come to the show and keep it 100, you know, right here on Kensington Avenue. So I thank God for that, and I just ask that you continue to keep him in prayer. So I'm going to end this show right now. Thank you for watching the show. You know, my guest on this show is Hood Stunt. That's Hood Stunt in the back. Yeah, so we checking out now. It's getting late. I got to get back to the truck. So I'm Joe the Street Preacher. Thank you for watching this show, and look out for the next upload.
Look what life has done to me. Look what life has done to me.